Hiya, welcome to today's Cuppa with Katie. And I'm doing this because earlier this week, this copy of Psychology's magazine was delivered to me and I'm in it. And I haven't shared it on social media yet. So I thought, I'll just quickly share it with you guys. So it's must be, I don't know what edition this is. Spring. It's the spring edition. And there's a dossier in here all around boundaries. It's 8 easy ways to stand up for yourself with loved ones here. And I'm in there, which is very exciting. Now, I didn't save the page, so I might not be able to find it very easily to show you. But I promise you I'm in here and I will pop it on social media because I'm very excited and very proud. It's always exciting when you get featured in a magazine, isn't it? Hey? And of course, I can't find it now. I should have saved it. Who's here, by the way? As you're joining, please say hi. And if you're on the replay, please type #replay. I just want to show you. Here we go. I'm sure it's this section called Heart. Yes. 8 things you need to know about boundaries. And look, hold on. How do I? I can never get this. I always go back to front. There I am. Look. Woohoo. There she is. And it's a beautiful article. And it was a real honor to contribute to it. And I'm very proud of it, and I will be sharing more of it. So thank you so much. Yep, it is brilliant. It's a really cool article. Yeah, really, really super cool. Hi, Ruth. Hello, hello. Don't forget you have to give StreamYard permission to share your name. So I know who I'm talking to, but it's wonderful to be with you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me. Who's there? Kate, hello, darling. Yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you. So I was in the March issue of Psychologies, and I know it's March now, but it came out in January. Weird, right? So, so this must be like July or something, June. I don't know. It's very confusing. So I did feature in an earlier edition of Psychologies, but this one's pretty cool too. So, my darlings, I wanted to share a question that was asked of me in my Love Lounge membership earlier this week. I will keep the lady who asked the question anonymous, but if you're in the Love Lounge, you would have seen this question already. But it was such a good question, and I wanted to share my answer and just kind of see what flows. So I haven't made notes for today's show. I just want to kind of see what comes forward, and maybe you've got some questions as I'm going along. But I'm going to be with you for sort of 15, 20 minutes today is the plan. I'm not dressed up. I'm in my Pilates kit. Usually when I do Cuppa with Katie, I'm either doing it just before dashing out the door to Pilates. Today, you've got me having just done Pilates. So I'm feeling very strong in my core right now. I tell you what, my core was burning a couple of hours ago. All right, so let's take a look at this question that was asked, and let's see how you might relate to this. So the question was, it was actually asked to the group. So she says, ladies, anyone else had an issue with attracting unavailable men? I seem to have done nothing else since I got divorced 3 years ago. One was in a relationship and another 3 emotionally unavailable. She dated someone that was in a relationship and then 3 who were emotionally unavailable. So we've got kind of physically unavailable and emotionally unavailable. It's hard not to get stuck in negative self-beliefs about what's wrong with me or what I'm doing wrong to attract this, or lack mentality around there not being that many empowered single men out there at my age. And although I know that's not going to help my energy, I'm struggling with this right now as it's just happened again. And I really felt her when she wrote that. It's just happened again. And right there, although didn't go back to her with this, and I'm hoping that she'll watch this, but right there's some pain to be acknowledged. So the most important thing when we're on our journey through life and we're choosing to live consciously, we're choosing to be an empowered woman, we're choosing to be the woman we came here to be, it's a daily practice to acknowledge what's coming up for healing, what is looking for your nurturing, what's looking to be held, what's looking for your unconditional love, for your compassion, maybe for your forgiveness. And when she says, I'm s- and although I know that's not going to help my energy, I'm struggling with this right now as it's just happened again. Acknowledging that it's just happened again and all the feelings around that will actually help her energy. We have to acknowledge how we're feeling moment to moment. It is absolutely our key to freedom. Acknowledge how you feel moment to moment, day to day, week to week, but moment to moment. I had a voice note from a private client yesterday. So my private clients have WhatsApp access to me, and which is really cool because we can just voice note backwards and forwards. I love it. And she was saying, "Oh, she's been kind of flying high for a while, and then she feels like she's dipped." But at the same time as sharing with me that she felt like she dipped, she was also sharing with me some really beautiful self-nurturing and how she was really stepping into her power and creating time to do her kind of her inner work and her self-exploration, and she's working through a body of work that I've given her, and there's a couple of modules there, and she set time aside later this week to work on that, and she's being kind and gentle with herself and easy on herself. And she was sharing with me all the different things that she's doing to support herself through this sort of lower time. At the same time, you could feel there was an angst, a discomfort with being in a low sort of dip. And my response to her was, and that's okay to be in a lower dip. It's like we have this expectation of perfection, of we've got to feel good all the time. And that, and we kind of like, I know that she will look at me, and I know women look to me and think, oh, she's got it sorted all the time. She's happy, she's peaceful, she's free, all the things. No, no, that is absolutely 100% not the case. I could only show up here on this call today if I prepared myself in advance. I took, and I'm no word of a lie, 4 to 5 hours to myself this morning before being able to begin my workday. That is the amount of preparation I needed to feel connected with me, to feel in my power, to be able to show up just out in public, let alone here on Facebook, let alone to my clients. Because so my alarm goes off at 5:30 at the moment. 5:30, because I know the time I need to connect with me and feel prepared for my day. It's such precious, important time. 5:30, I get up, I make a cup of tea. While I'm making my tea, I'm kind of clearing the kitchen. By the way, I'm going to get back to the whole unavailable man thing, but this just feels important to share. Making my cup of tea, clearing the kitchen a little bit while the kettle's boiling, and then I'm up in bed and I'm journaling. So I went back to bed this morning because it was a bit cold and it was raining. And I was journaling, and I was journaling around what had triggered me the last few days and how that triggering had made me feel. I knew that there was something there that needed my attention, that needed addressing. So I was journaling. I moved through a process of journaling that really shone a light on so much for me. It was such a wake-up call. It was such a beautiful aha. I could see the parts of me that were looking for my love and my attention, for my nurturing, for my forgiveness. I could see where I needed to step in and have my own back. I then did a meditation. And there was more to my morning. Went on my walk. I made a beautiful breakfast. I took my supplements. Like my whole morning, every single day is geared to honoring how I feel. And I do not wake up every single day with a spring in my step. And very regularly, I wake up with transformational amnesia, and I have to remember who I am. And I have to allow myself to feel my feelings. I have to work through my limiting beliefs. I have to remind myself what's actually true so that I can step into my power and go out into my day. And so I'm sharing that with you because this is true for all of us. It's a self-responsibility piece. And when I read here this woman saying, I'm struggling with this right now as it's just happened again, my instant thing is, yes, this is the human experience. We are challenged pretty much on a daily basis, often multiple times a day. And we can judge ourselves as being low energy, low vibe. What's wrong with me? Why can't I maintain happiness? Why can't I maintain peace? Why can't I maintain the sense of freedom like everybody else does? Which is not true. But those of us that are showing up in the world and living purposefully and living abundantly, and multiple meanings within abundantly, abundant love, abundant health, abundant finance, whatever it is for you. Um, those of us that are, and I would include myself there, are not there all the time and do our freaking work to be there. Like, we ride the waves constantly. We have our back as we're riding the waves constantly. And I had to remind this to my client yesterday. It's like, don't judge yourself. Well, I invited her not to judge herself for having a dip. We don't judge ourselves when we're high, and there's no difference between the two. It's just the human experience. This is just what we do. And our responsibility is to have our back through all of it. I know I've gone off on a major tangent. I'm not sure where that came from, but I knew today was going to be a flow rather than a anything scripted or bullet pointed or any prep done. Facebook user. Oh, I wish I knew who that was. Hello, darling. It's resonating. I'm so, so glad. Hello, hello. Hey, Wendy. Good to see you, darling. So my first response to this question for this woman who's attracting in unavailable men, it's to honor how that feels. Because that feels shitty, doesn't it? That's hard. It's disappointing. So to honor that. Now, because of the way she worded the question, my answer, and there is an element of, intuition when I respond to my clients. My answer for her was quite specific because of how she'd worded her question, because she's clearly a very conscious, aware woman. Because she's already, I'm just going to go back to what she's written here. She said, it's hard to not get stuck in negative self-beliefs about what's wrong with me or what I'm doing wrong to attract this. So she's already been checking that out. She's already been noticing, and I know I've been starting to get to know her a little bit in the Love Lounge. So she's already been doing the work to check out her belief systems. She's already, and because she's doing that work, I know that she's available to herself, because quite often my first response to a question like that would be, well, how are you available to you? If you're attracting in unavailable men, physically unavailable men, emotionally unavailable men, where are you not physically available to yourself? Where are you not emotionally available to yourself? How are you? What's your behavior that's having you separate from you? What is it about you that you're not looking at? Now, usually that might be my first go-to response. But this woman, she's not unavailable to herself. I've been watching her. She's been doing the work. She's been checking out her belief systems. Part of her question here was, is it lack mentality around there not being that many empowered single men out there at my age? She's been checking that out already. She's been looking at all these different options. So she is there for her. She's showing up in a group like the Love Lounge. This woman is available to herself. She's doing deep self-inquiry. She's doing the work. She's doing her best. So what I really felt and what came through for me when I heard her question was, how healed do you feel around your past, around your marriage and that relationship? Do you feel fully healed from your marriage? And do you feel fully healed from the divorce? Because that's what I really felt was coming through. And that was bang on. She came back and she realized, no, I haven't. And often when we're attracting in unavailable men or women, it's often because there's a part of us that just isn't available to be hurt again. If they're unavailable, then I can't invite them in to my heart to hurt me. Does that make sense? So maybe there's a fear of being hurt again. Maybe there's a fear of failure. Maybe there's a fear of being let down. Maybe there's a fear of disappointment, right? Fill in the blank. So if you're attracting in unavailable people when you're dating, what part of you isn't available to receive them in? And that part of you is looking for nurturing, is looking for compassion, is looking for love, is looking for healing. And often that's going, well, always, the transformational process is awareness, emotional expression and release, forgiveness. That's what we need to move through, those 3 stages to heal. So the awareness would be the first steps. Like, what is it about you that's not available to receive in a man? Well, it's that part of me that is still in deep pain and trauma, maybe from the divorce experience. How he showed up in the relationship. There might still be real pain, disappointment around that. Maybe how she showed up in the relationship, how she behaved throughout the divorce. I mean, there's all multiple different things that could have been going on. But she has to get into awareness around what is it that she hasn't paid attention to, that she hasn't acknowledged and emotionally felt the feelings and released and then moved into forgiveness. So the awareness is first, and then it's the feeling piece. It's like, feel your feelings around that. Instead of just putting up a wall and being unavailable to be treated like that again, how about we take down the wall and work with the sadness, the grief, the loss, the rejection, the disappointment, the shame, and really feel those feelings. Because when we're defensive, when we're pushing away, we're not available to receive, are we? So of course we're going to attract in people that aren't available, because we're not available for the available person. As soon as you become available for an available person, the available person will come along, right? So, but if we've got our walls up, really what we have to remember as well is that defensiveness, maybe that anger, it's a secondary emotion. What's really going on is something underneath. It is something very tender, something very vulnerable that's looking to be felt. And maybe she has never allowed herself to feel that because maybe it just feels too hard. Maybe it doesn't feel survivable to really go there. Because those big feelings, they don't feel like we can survive them sometimes. And we don't want to feel that. We also don't really want to go back in time. But unless we feel we're not healing, and all of these feelings are a stagnant, blocking energy. It's also a toxic energy that's making us sick. So we have to release that. And then we have to move into forgiveness. We have to forgive ourselves for our contribution to that relationship, for even making the choice of that relationship, of how we showed up in that relationship. And there'll be some stuff for her to own around that. So self-forgiveness, forgiveness of him as another spiritual being having a human experience who fucks up sometimes. He needs forgiving too, as does she. And it might even be about forgiving the masculine. I mean, a lot of my journaling this morning, this came up for me again. Like my relationship to the masculine, my general distrust of the masculine was a big block to me being able to call in love. It was a huge reason that I was single, because I just fundamentally did not trust the masculine. I did not trust men. I did not trust masculinity, because all that I knew and that had been modeled to me was the disempowered masculine. And it did not feel safe. And I had a ton of healing to do around that for me to be available for an empowered man to come into my life. And that was a real process. And interestingly, here I am married and it still comes up. And when I noticed what I had been triggered by the last few days and how that had me feel, the theme running through was, I still don't trust the masculine. This is still a work in progress for me. This is still a healing journey for me. And so I'm on it. I'm just going to take a look at the comments, see if we have any. I love the flow. I love the flow too. It's fun. Oh, Layla. Hi, darling. Hi. Making sense. I love that. This resonates and makes so much sense. Just had an aha moment about my own past with my father relationship and how it could relate to my current marriage situation. Well, my love, that's exactly what came up for me this morning. So as I was doing my journaling, while I was noticing the limiting beliefs that were the self-sabotaging beliefs that were coming up, I saw a thread through all of them. So the different triggers over the last few days from different people and situations and so on, utterly unrelated. And yet every single one of them I could see was linked to my relationship to the masculine. And then I could see how it linked directly to my relationship with my father growing up. Of course. Yeah. What says that message about masculine is proliferated amongst my women friends, that all men are asshole type message. Yeah. And it's just not true. It's just not true. Some men are, some women are, people can be, people are, but it doesn't make it true generally. And so we have to heal our relationship with the masculine if we desire to have an empowered relationship. Yeah. So for this woman, the invitation very strongly was a body of work around forgiveness of herself, of him, of the masculine, of like ... Like, what does she need to forgive? What does she need to let go of? What does she need to draw a line underneath so that she can open her heart and allow someone in? When she's able to open her heart and allow someone in, an available man will show up. But it's perfect right now that only unavailable people are showing up for her, because she's not ready to let them in anyway. It's perfect. Energetically, she doesn't want them. So it's perfect that they don't want to connect with her or that they disappear. It's perfect. It's aligned. It's an energetic match. Boom. And this is true if you're married in a relationship. You know, if your partner isn't showing up for you in some way, you've got to take a look at, well, how available am I really to receive them in? And what do I need to do? So, my darlings, I hope that, and it seems to have already, yes, we've had a huge realization there. So I love that. Yay. And I love that the huge realization was for a married woman. So it wasn't for a single girl who's experiencing unavailable men. No, like that's what I love about these cuppas is the chance to just chat and see what comes forward. And I have to trust that the message that's meant to be out there is going to touch the right people or person at the right time. So thank you so much for joining me. It's my pleasure to have you here. If you would like to spend more time in my world, if you want to be coached by me, if you want to receive masterclasses and teachings from me and from amazing other teachers that I'm connected to, please come on into the Love Lounge. We're a stunning membership of women. It's £49 a month to be a member. There's so much in there, and it's building and growing. The offering is increasing. And there's a 7-day free trial right now. So if you want to check it out, I put a link somewhere here. Check it out. Come join us for a bit. Try it out. We've got a masterclass tonight as it happens. And we've got our group coaching call. We've got one next week coming up. So yeah, come do the trial. You can try those out, get to know some of the ladies, and we'd love to welcome you in. Other than that, I've got one more comment here. Let's see, who's this? That really helps. The acceptance of where I'm at part. Yeah. And this is self-responsibility. Okie dokie. I will be back next week. Now, next week, let me think about this. I will be back next week. Not sure exactly when, because I'm at a business mastermind traveling way up to the north of England. We're staying in some big castle. It's all very exciting. I'm not too sure of my schedule with that, but I will do a cuppa at some point, hopefully in a space in the castle so that you can get a sense of the castle, because that would be quite fun, wouldn't it? Anyway, I'll see you then. Have a beautiful rest of your week. Love you tons. And if you want more, and if you want to actually get coached by me, come on over to the Love Lounge. Mwah. Love you. Have a great rest of your day. Ciao, ciao.